So here we are on the brink of the 2025 NFL season that is just months away, and if you're looking for the most fascinating offense in football, you don't need to look any further than the Dallas Cowboys. This is a team in the midst of a dramatic transformation, and it all starts with the offense, from a wave of coaching changes to high-profile additions like George Pickens, from a running back room that's as uncertain as ever, to the hope that young guys like Tyler Guyton, Tyler Booker, Jaden Blue, and other recent picks over the years can become difference makers. The Cowboys offense is definitely a riddle, but it's the kind of riddle that could create some major fireworks if everything clicks, and that's what makes this team so compelling right now, and I want to, as I've been doing, continue to break it all down. But before we really dive in, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 60,000 subscribers, and with your support, I believe that we can get there super fast. Alright, so if you're looking, the first thing you notice about this year's Cowboys is the uncertainty surrounding their offensive identity. Brian Schottenheimer, who was the offensive coordinator last year, is now the new head coach, obviously, but there's a lot of speculation about how much of the offense will be his vision versus how much of it will come from the new hires and collaborative voices on staff. This is the first time in years that fans and analysts alike genuinely have no idea what the Cowboys offense will look like. That's both thrilling and also a little bit nerve-wracking, depending on your perspective. One thing that's become clear from minicamp and OTAs is just how secretive and experimental the Cowboys are being. There's been a deliberate effort to keep details about informations and tendencies under wraps, and that's no accident. Part of it is gamesmanship. They don't want to tip their hand before the season even starts, but part of it is that the staff is still figuring things out themselves. Are they going to lean into the ground and pound ball control approach that Schottenheimer favored in Seattle, or will they open things up and build the offense around Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and George Pickens? That question hangs over everything right now. Schottenheimer's background is definitely worth examining. He's had success with quarterbacks like Russell Wilson, and there are some who credit him with getting the best out of Wilson during their time together. But it's also true that those Seahawks teams were extremely run-heavy, conservative, and focused on not turning the ball over. In today's NFL, that kind of approach can make it tough to keep up with the league's best offenses, who play super aggressive and try to put as many points on the board as possible, and they take the risks. And the Cowboys simply aren't built to play that way. Their running back room is among the weakest in the league, and that's not just speculation. Pro Football Focus ranked them dead last at the position heading into the season. Javonte Williams, who comes over from Denver, is a solid back, but has durability concerns, and he isn't a true home run threat. He's more of a grinder, a guy who can pick up tough yards and help in pass protection, but he doesn't scare defenses at all. Miles Sanders, another new addition, is coming off a disappointing stint in Carolina and is fighting to prove he still has something left in the tank. Deuce Vaughn, the diminutive spark plug, is battling for his roster spot, and he brings some gadget potential, while Malik Davis and Jaden Blue round out the group. Blue is an intriguing prospect. He's got the traits of a modern explosive back, but he's still going to be adjusting to the pro game, and the bottom line is that this isn't a group that you can build your offense around week after week. That's why the Cowboys are likely to lean heavily on the passing game, and fortunately, they have the weapons to do it. CeeDee Lamb has quietly put together one of the best 3-year stretches in NFL history, and is now firmly in the conversation as one of the league's elite receivers. The arrival of George Pickens gives Dallas a legitimate downfield threat, who plays with an edge and physicality that this team has been missing. If Pickens continues to develop, the Cowboys could easily have a top 5 receiving duo in the league. Jake Ferguson, while not a superstar, is a reliable tight end who has become a favorite target for Dak Prescott. His ability to stretch the field and work the seams gives the Cowboys another dimension, and the chemistry he has with Prescott shouldn't be underestimated. The battle for the third receiver spot between Jalen Tolbert and Jalen Mingo and a few other guys adds even more depth, and Kevontae Turpin's ability to be sort of like a gadget player brings a lot of creativity and big play potential to the offense. Of course, though, none of this matters if the offensive line can't hold up. The Cowboys have invested heavily in the trenches, and this year's group has the potential to be special. Tyler Smith is already a standout, and Cooper Beebe looks like a plug-and-play interior lineman who can anchor the middle of the line. Tyler Guyton, last year's first-round pick, has all the physical tools but is still a developing player, and then Terrence Steele is coming off a rough stretch, but the new coaching staff led by Connor Riley, who coached Deuce Vaughn at Kansas State, brings a fresh perspective, and he isn't afraid to shake things up. There's no longer a sense of loyalty to underperformers, and if someone like Richards or Cornelius surprises in camp, the coaches won't hesitate to make a change. The Cowboys' offensive line is massive and hoists a lot of Tylers. Guyton, Smith, Beebe, Booker, and Steele all bring size and athleticism that should give Dallas an edge in both pass protection and run blocking, and last year the line ranked just 23rd in both run and pass blocking, but with another year of development and better health, there's optimism that this group can take a big step forward. The addition of Tyler Booker and the versatility of Cornelius, who can play both guard and tackle, give the Cowboys valuable depth and flexibility up front. And then at the heart of all of this is Dak Prescott. Despite the criticism he often faces, Prescott still remains a high-end starting quarterback with full command of the offense. He's incredibly accurate when given time, and he has developed strong chemistry with his top targets. The key for Dak is staying in rhythm and being allowed to attack defenses rather than being forced into heroics late in games because the run game sputtered. The offense should be built around his strengths and the weapons at his disposal, not the other way around. Prescott is coming off a right hamstring avulsion surgery, I think I said that right, but reports from camp suggest he's healthy and very motivated. He's 9-4 all-time against the Eagles and has a 13-game personal winning streak against the Giants, both of whom the Cowboys face early in the season. A fast start will definitely be crucial, especially with a new head coach and a tough schedule towards the end of the season. Dallas is tied for the 5th hardest schedule in the entire league, and after a well-timed bye in Week 10, they closed the season with 6 of their final 8 games against 2024 playoff teams. But overall, the coaching overhaul has brought new energy and a willingness to innovate. Schottenheimer and his staff are expected to borrow concepts from some of the league's most successful offenses. Think Detroit, Jacksonville from years back, San Francisco, and Philadelphia. This openness to new ideas and collaboration is a departure from the more conservative approach of the Mike McCarthy era, and it could be exactly what the Cowboys need to avoid being stagnant. This staff isn't afraid to experiment with pre-snap motion, creative screen passes, and ways to get playmakers like Turpin more involved, but there are still real questions. The running back room is shallow, the offensive line is dependent on young players developing quickly, and the defense's performance could force the offense into high-scoring shootouts if it regresses due to injuries or turnover. The Cowboys have let go of several key veterans in the offseason, including DeMarcus Lawrence, Chauncey Golston, Jordan Lewis, Brandon Cooks, Rico Dowdle, and Cooper Rush. They brought in Dante Fowler Jr., who returns after a 10.5 sack season in Washington, and they made trades for linebacker Kenneth Murray, cornerback Khair Lam, and backup quarterback Joe Milton. The draft focused on adding depth and youth, and despite the changes, the core of this team is as strong as any in the league. CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Dak Prescott, Tyler Smith, and Micah Parsons gives Dallas elite talent at the most important positions. The challenge isn't about whether they're good enough, it's about figuring out how to win. If this coaching staff can maximize the offensive line, keep the running backs healthy, and let Prescott operate aggressively without fear of making mistakes, this offense could carry the Cowboys deeper into the playoffs than we've seen in years. And as camp opens and the season approaches, all eyes will be on how quickly the new faces can gel and whether the coaching staff can unlock the full potential of this roster. The journey will be filled with a lot of ups and downs. I think that's pretty obvious. Every season has its own roller coaster of emotions, but the ceiling is as high as it's been in a long time. So let me know in the comments below how you're feeling about this team heading into 2025. Do you think the Cowboys can seriously make some damage, or do you think it's going to be just like years before and the coaching staff is going to take a while to develop some of the new guys? I don't know. I personally think if the Cowboys can make this gel and make things work, I think they can be one of the better teams in the league. I mean, they went for like 4 straight years. They were 12-5 or something like that. I especially remember them dominating their division year after year, so we'll see if they can get back to that. But overall, I think the Cowboys have one of the more intriguing rosters in the league, so it's fun to talk about them. We are just months away from opening kickoff. Let me know what you would like to see next in the comments below. Please be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this one and haven't yet. And until next time, I will see you all later.